Greetings, one and all. Just saw Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. It's the conclusion of all 9 episodes coming up to this point. Man, a lot of pressure, but I had faith in J.J. Abrams to take us home after doing, I thought, a great job with Force Awakens for what he could do with it. And a not so good Last Jedi that, kind of fumbled a lot of stuff I think J.J. was trying to do with episode 7. So here we go. Episode 9. How was it? So let's talk about this, okay? I feel like this movie has very high expectations because of what it follows, it being the last movie of the whole saga episodes for Star Wars and Lucasfilm. I have no idea where they're going to take Star Wars now. It could be anything, but as far as the Skywalker story, it looks like there's no more, which is bittersweet and sad and hard to say. But with such high expectations and with so much anticipation, I think The Last Jedi just put so much sour and such a division of all Star Wars fans that this movie, I think, was trying to pick up so many pieces, and I think it was too many to pick up from what happened. So I would have wished JJ directed all 3 movies, to be honest with you, because I really believe Rian Johnson did put a little thorn for what JJ set up with Force Awakens. And you saw it in the movie. You saw the movie, starting off kind of the best I guess it could have started after the end of Last Jedi. It almost seemed like watching this movie, JJ was really trying to make this his movie and not like a continuation so much from what Rian Johnson did with Last Jedi. And he was trying to add a lot that, I'm sure he wanted in episode 8 but didn't because of what happened. So I feel like this movie, although I honestly think this movie is fair, it's not terrible, it's good, but I wasn't like, it didn't feel as good as when I watched The Force Awakens. Now that could be just because Star Wars, it took 10 years for another Star Wars movie to come out from the last one, and this one, it's 2 years from Last Jedi. So I don't know. I even watched a lot of interviews with the director and cast members, and something about them, they just didn't seem as stoked and happy with this movie as they did when Force Awakens came out. And I just had this really bad gut feeling that something was wrong with this movie. I feel like there's many things wrong with it, and good things obviously too. Bringing back certain cast members that you felt like definitely need to come back just to help resurrect what happened from the last movie. But I just can't put my thumb on it. I feel like this one just kind of didn't really know what it needed to do, but it needed to close it. It needed to close this chapter of this novel. And so basically this takes place right after Last Jedi. Rey is training in the Force. Leia is basically her master, so they did not kill off Leia. A lot of people are talking about, they're going to have to kill off Leia somehow in the beginning crawls of, the famous prologue of the Star Wars movies. But no, Leia's alive, and Rey's training. Kylo Ren is on search of this Emperor that he keeps hearing voices of to basically go and kill him because he wants all the power in the galaxy. And then we have our, resistance, Finn and Poe and all them, BB-8 and all stuff. They're in a new base, and everyone's just trying to pick up the pieces of what happened in the last movie and basically, fight or try to figure out how to fight, the First Order and end that. And so it's crazy. The Emperor's back, like you saw from the previews, as far as hearing the voice. I guess it's a clone version of him. The movie just felt really weird. It felt very out of place from even the second movie, and definitely from the first movie. But it brought back elements from The Force Awakens that needed to be. But there's so many questions, so many questions I had. There were certain moments with Finn and Rey that did not get resolved, and I'm really upset about that. And I don't know. I have to probably look into it and see what maybe those questions were answered and I missed them. And just the ending of this movie, it just felt very quick and abrupt, and questions, just so many questions, because if this is the end of this particular type of saga of Star Wars, it's like, where do we go here, So I feel like leaving this movie, I had more questions than answers. We do finally get to see the Knights of Ren, which were teased in The Force Awakens, and I thought that was such a cool concept, but they were very brief, no introduction, just these 6 random dudes in masks, and I don't even know if they had force powers or what, but that was kind of a bummer for me as far as how they took those characters in this movie. I wanted more kind of fleshed out about them, but again, I think JJ had such an impossible task because he had so much ground to cover with so little time, between making the movies and for just making one movie. There's just so much, that I'm sure he wanted to put in that couldn't, because this movie probably would have been 8 hours long or something. But given the fact for what JJ had to deal with and work with, I give him a lot of credit. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's Star Wars, guys. It's no joke. So, yeah, I don't know. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. It was not as satisfying as I want it to be. But I just really try to go in there and up a mind and just be free of whatever was coming my way. But I just couldn't help it watching the movie. Throughout the movie, I just felt like the pacing was kind of a little off. I felt like things were kind of rushed really quickly in certain areas of the story. Certain things weren't explained, and then certain things were just really rushed into it. Like the beginning, it's just kind of like, boom, we leave Last Jedi, and here, we're in the search of Sith relics. These things were never brought up in any of the episodes, so it's like they weren't really explained either. And just the fact about the Emperor. I mean, is this the same Emperor? Is it a clone Emperor? I think it's a clone Emperor, but I think it wasn't, just because of how they designed him in the movie. I think it was the actual Emperor that Vader, threw off in the Death Star, but it's just crazy that he's still alive. And yeah, I just don't want to say too much to give too many spoilers away. I'm just trying to give you guys just an idea of how I felt about the movie and what it stood for. And I just think all in all, it was fine. It's definitely worth seeing. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Lando's back. We got all our characters from the previous movies are back. There's a lot of cameos in there that you see that are pretty cool. But I just felt like a lot was just had to be shoved in there, and things just, it was just like, it felt like an emergency movie. It just felt like it was a medic movie. It was just like, okay, let's just throw all these good things in here and hope, people forget about Last Jedi and try to restore Star Wars. But I liked it. I really did. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I just felt a tad little disappointed coming out here. I know it's so crazy to say and horrible and judgmental, but I try not to be. But honestly, I'm just being honest. The way I walked out of this movie, I was just like, you know what? I felt like it was missing stuff. I felt like questions were not answered. I felt like certain things were just rushed, and certain things were just not explained as much as I want it to be for a conclusion film. And yeah, the ending, it had a cool part, but again, a lot of loose ends, and there's some plot holes, and just, I felt like they ran out of time and they ran out of money making the movie or something. As crazy as that sounds for, a Star Wars budget. But yeah, guys, so Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna give this movie, I'm gonna give this probably like a 6.8 out of 10. It is pretty, low for a Star Wars movie in my opinion as far as rating goes, but it's just how I feel. Go check it out though. I mean, you're gonna have a good time watching it, but I'm just being a little more overcritical just because I am such a huge fan of Star Wars. But there you go, guys. The Rise of Skywalker, Christmas time. No better time for a holiday movie than Star Wars to come out for Christmas. So go check it out, guys. Let me know what you guys think about The Rise of Skywalker. I want to know what you guys think about it, but I know I'm just kind of like, mumbling on and just kind of throwing out, ideas, but it's just hard to kind of talk about the movie and not give spoilers away. But that's my review. That's what I think of the movie, guys. So, yeah. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. If I don't see you, have a Merry Christmas. But I will catch you later and see you next time. All right, guys, later. Bye-bye.